At 71 years old, Hulk Hogan remains one of the most iconic figures in professional wrestling history. They knew his face from everywhere. Take a loud RIP to professional wrestling. The Hulk Hogan wasn't just a crazy name, he was a time-alive sign of American strength and power. But now, we once saw the Hulk at 71 years old. Knew they could hardly walk without paying the sunglasses, and smiles on the beach. There is a life full of broken bones, there are broken relationships, and a ghost knowing that his time in the sun is almost over is quickly ending. This isn't the tale of the story of a wrestling winner, a man whose body was cheered to death, whose family broke up because of the well-known people whose names are now split across between memories and controversy. Is Hulk Hogan's life now, and it's not what you'd expect from him. Before he turned into the Hulk, he was Terry Eugene Bollea, and he was a bass guitar player in Tampa, Florida. With a long, she has blonde hair and loves sports. But things changed for good in the late 1970s, when he started wrestling rings for the first time with a huge 6 feet 7 inches, and had a charm that couldn't be beat. Wasn't just another guy in tights. Over the top. Vince McMahon saw that. They gave him a new name, and saw his promise. Get a new look and a new job. Be the face of WWF, which he did from 1984 on. People all over America went crazy for Hulkamania. Words like red and yellow gear, and the over-the-top guy. He became well known. Kids wore his hats, huge adults cheered as he hit them. He was more than just a fighter. A pop culture occurrence that has been seen on talk shows on MTV and hit movies. Hogan had gone beyond Rocky III in the same way that Ring. But the toll behind the camera started early. His body was pushed to limits in almost every wrestling match. The plans were terrible. 300 or more shows and no off-season. No time to heal. Every leg drop and body press should be slammed. It cost him to make his signature. It may have looked easy to move the leg drop, but he fell and hit his back night after night, caused a lot of pressure in his lower back, something Hogan wouldn't know the effects of until decades later. By the end of the 1980s, he wasn't just a wrestler. He was the wrestler starred in the first 9 WrestleManias. His picture was on lunchboxes and other things. Numbers and Hulkamania had spread around the world, but what most fans didn't see was behind the smiles and moves was the hurting that had already started to creep into his daily life. The rise of it was great to see Hulk Hogan, but it came at a price. And that price was his body. Started out as strength, would finally leave. He was scarred and walked in a painful way to old age. By the 1990s, when they got there, Hulk Hogan's body was already dead. Been through a war, but the crowd, they saw the muscle. What they didn't have was bandanas, charm, and check out the cortisone shots. The more and more surgeries and painkillers every year. It started with his back. The effect of the leg drop all the time. Thousands over the course of his time. Broke. The doctors found cartilage in his lower back. Told him it couldn't work. Hogan, he later said, "If I had known what harm I caused each time, I would never have dropped that leg. I tried to finish it, but it was too late." In the 2000s, the damage could not be fixed. Then Hogan got kneed. He has had both replacement knees more than once. Freely talked about how bone on bone the pressure made it almost impossible to walk. He is said to have crawled to the some mornings. I can't get to the bathroom, make his legs straight until the swelling went down. And the back surgery after surgery. As of 2023, Hogan has been through about 25 back treatments, such as spinal fusion, plastic surgery, and disc replacements. In one, he told them, "I have screws and rods. You guys make me feel like a robot now. The pain never goes away, and it's hard to sleep. He only needs the medicine to get through it. A normal day with shoulder and neck pain, hip implants, and tears in his medical, the record sounds more like a car accident than an old athlete who has quit. And even though wrestling is planned, the effects are real. Every slam and body throw, every time they landed on concrete, it added up. Even though it cost him, Hogan kept working hard. In his 50s, he came back to WWE more than once. Times fans cheered when he made his enter, but not many people noticed how slowly he had turned into every move was planned. With each smile, a different twinge of Hogan says he's having trouble now that he's 71 years old. Getting from his bedroom to that he can't lift weights some days. He doesn't run like he used to. He avoids steps. He was in hospitals more often than in the ring in the last 10 years, and this may be the scariest part. Every doctor says they know it's not over. You're just one bad fall away from I got in my wheelchair, he said. Once made it stand out from the rest, is always afraid of his own body lying to him. Hulk Hogan might still say hello to fans and wave on red, not Terry Bollea's real life though. Inside his gated home in Clearwater, Florida is not even close to the ring's glory. His house is set up for one thing: comfort when you're in pain all the time. There is a private room for physical treatment. Ergonomic furniture made just for him, problems with your back, and even special chairs with massage features built in to help circulation. This isn't a nice to have, it's important for Hogan. Comfort has to stay alive. Mornings are slow for him, a mix of medicines to control swelling, stiffness, and joint pain, nerve pain. Most days start with hours of he did some stretching and low-impact exercises. Stays away from stairs and rough ground, flat carpeted places to keep them safe from slips. He's said to have fences put all over the house, not seen in pictures, but necessary for daily life. He spends a lot of time by himself or with close family. Are long gone. Of busy routines and public, it looks like Hogan only goes when needed, often with help from friends. Say he turns down most event invites now. Even in the world of wrestling, the house has a gym, but it's not the same as the one fans remember. Been turned into a rehab center with physio balls, exercise bands, and light dumbbells, and no more iron flinging making noise under big plates. Just his moves are now more controlled and careful. Truly spiritual in the past few years, daily prayers, quiet time to think, and he now spends a lot of time in nature. Hogan has even said that he fears death not because he is scared of dying, but due to his stress over what he'll. I only want people to know about what I left behind. I tried my best, but his house isn't there. That's where he hides, not where he lives. From the noise of the past, the cheers are gone, the lights are off, and the calm rooms of a Florida house. There are memories all around, folklore. Having pain follow them, and waiting for the world to remember the man who faced for someone who used to deal with Hulk Hogan's. The way I spend my days now is shockingly. His mornings start out quiet and almost religious. Protein shakes should not be drunk before morning, and lift heavy things, but with painkillers and prayer. Every joint is stiff at age 71. Every step is planned out. His mornings are built around the limits of his body, not his goal. He starts with heat to help loosen up the scar tissue in his heating pads made just for the lower back, and electric stimulation tools are useful. Lessen the stiffness enough for him to move from there. It's just light stretching led by a physical trainer if you have one planned for that day. He doesn't walk far, not without help, and on tough days, he doesn't walk at all some days. Usually easy and health-related smoothies with fruit and oats, the 10 days of egg no more omelets, and huge piles of meat. And dietitian helps him keep track of his food now. Not to make gains, but to ease pain and inflammation in check. He's off red meat, has less sugar, and no prepared foods. He usually spends the afternoons in alone time, sometimes watching old, sometimes reading or fighting, and other times, while pondering. He's become almost self-reflective. I used to be hooked on philosophical. Now I just want peace, he told the crowd. Said he sometimes meets with close, getting together with family or friends for lunch. Not even a simple shopping trip is done very often. It's literally hard not to store run. Talk about how much attention it gets, and he'll send someone or order things in instead. In his honor, evenings are full of stillness. He looks at the sunset from his patio with souvenirs all around it, championship belts, pictures in frames, and an AA fan gave him this guitar as a gift. Shrine to a man he used to be. Before going to bed, he takes another set of medicines. Muscle relaxants, painkillers, and sleep aids. He has a hard time falling asleep. He thought about his body, his life, and what's next for a man who used to live. There is almost no noise in front of millions of people. Loud beneath the skin of Hulk. Behind Hogan's public image are a number of distance between people in a relationship, trouble, and sorrow. Once thought of as the private life of Hogan, an all-American family man, things are very different in real life. Shaped by fame, ego, deception, and loss. Was married to Linda Hogan for a long time, over 20 years, and made 2 kids. Brooke and Nick for many years were shown to be a perfect family, but behind the fake smiles on reality TV, things are going apart. Cheating, claims, neglecting your feelings, and using drugs. Their later years together were cloudy. A messy split in 2009 was seen by many people. Linda got 70% of the very expensive the couple's cash and other assets, homes, and millions of dollars in a deal he got back together with after the breakup with his kids. Cause Brooke once talked about it. There were years when I didn't even know who he was. Always Hulk Hogan, never Dad. Put up a wall between him and the people. Nick Hogan, who was close to him and his son, he made news in 2007 when he was in a fast-moving car accident that left his friend. Turned off Hogan's for good. The way the fallout was handled drew harsh. Some people said he was more worried with appearance than with regret. Caused a split in the family that took years to start fixing. Today as things are better between them and Brooke. They talk a lot, and she checks in on him often. Health, but now things are different, more careful, more grown up. There's love, but also a sadness that won't go away over what fame took them away. He got married again in 2010. About Jennifer McDaniel, a woman 21 years old, his junior, but they quietly split up in 2021. The split was mostly left out of the eye of the public, a sign that Hogan no longer had the drive or energy for attention from the media in his daily life. Hogan spends most of his time these days. He only has a few close friends that he trusts, of them from the world of wrestling or gym days. But even those ties aren't as strong now. With time, when you're feeling weak. I lost a lot of good, Hogan said. People who want to stay on top. Scary truth for someone who he once taught brotherhood and loyalty, for a man who made his name by honor and Americana. Hulk Hogan's the public's fall from grace happened quickly and without pity as the wounds tore at his body. The scandals broke his history, and some wounds still haven't healed. Healed in 2012, a sex tape got out that showed Hogan with the wife of his best friend at the time. Friend and radio host Bubba, the Love Sponge, went crazy on the internet. It wasn't just the show, Hogan said on the tape. that shocked the world in a private chat. He used swear words and racial slurs that shocked his fans. It caused a lot of trouble in wrestling. Right away, WWE ended his deal, took his name out of the Hall of Fame and took him off the advertising list. Sponsors pulled out of the deal. Fans turned first time behind their backs. Fans of the Hulk were no longer going crazy. Hogan said sorry because he was scared. In public and in private, he said that the way he talked didn't show who he was. But the damage was already done. Brought him back years later. Many people felt it was too little too late. The comeback was tame. The energy that the tale had bad name because of the sex tape story didn't end with being shamed in public. Turned into a famous court case. Hogan Gawker Media was sued for invasion of peace of mind and won a huge $140 $1 million in damages. The suit Gawker went bankrupt and made news world. For a moment, it looked like Hogan won, but it started a new talk about the right and wrong of privacy and the paradox of fame. Hogan said that the case win felt hollow. I lost years of my life to you. Peace, not just fans and friends said of mine. The incident and the racism, the debate changed how people saw him. Many people did not forgive, but some did. Hogan still shows up at WWE events. Sometimes the warmth is different, that the cheers are softer, and the emotion is felt a little uneasy about his job behind him and his body telling on him. Many old stars do what Hulk Hogan did. He made a memorial to the past. Hall of Fame. But in a beachfront store. Hogan's beach shop is in a space. There is a store in Clearwater Beach, Florida. Part shrine. People walk through a maze. Replicas of sports items, old action models, belts, neon signs, even the well-known boots and gear from WrestleMania fights are loud and bright. A romantic look back at the time when Hogan ruled the world. He's known for signing up for occasional shows, getting autographs, taking shots, and show off for friends who still call him brother, but doesn't see you very often now. Employees say he usually shows up quietly. It only stays for a short time and then leaves as quickly as possible. The man who used to do well on being the center of attention right now likes the setting. But Hogan's beach shop is more than just goods. It's how he keeps his mind in check. The story of saying, "This is who I am." It wasn't run, "Remember me this way." It's run like a modern store, honor and pride in the museum. And with a bit of despair, even the decorations say a lot about a place. With magazine pages and headlines and pics of Hogan at his best, there's not much talk about the incidents, lawsuits, and this is the curated form of the breakdowns. About the Hulk, a character who never fell. Fans are still lining up to buy its shirts, stand next to life-size statues, and walk around. They smile the same way they did as Hogan, though. It's not just a business. It's his last venue. His last chance. Call a place where the lights are off bright, and people are still chanting his name. Name, even if it was just in his mind at 71. At 71 years old, Hulk Hogan isn't after fame. He's after fame or money these days. Peace after. Being the having never died, he now lives in the shadow of who they are. More man than myth, more scar than muscle. Hogan has come clean about it. Late last year about death, getting older, and moral reckoning in talks, he admitted that the pain he feels every day has made him face his death in ways he never thought possible. I used to think I couldn't be hurt, but now he told her, "I know my time is limited." That very rare podcast show in 2022 that this change in his mind is pushed him toward faith. He usually goes to church and prays every morning and spends time with spiritual signs. He has a Bible next to him. He told her more than once, I botched things that I can't return. I'm trying to make peace with you before my friends say he's calmed down since time's up. Getting more introspective, he writes in a notebook. Now reads the Bible and watches the ocean and thinks about the people he hurt. What he's leaving behind, and the old version of himself that he remembered, but there's also fear. Fear of going away, Hogan once said. It's hard to go from having thousands of people cheering for you to he's watched while hearing nothing but silence. Other stories are forgotten by teens and young adults, and it bothers him. The person who told fans to never give up now tries to stay current in that world has already moved on a mental tug-of-war, describes his present choosing between life and the desire for peace, fear of darkness. And every morning when he wakes up in pain, he is told that the fight didn't end in the ring. Changed shape, but his body is still weak, and he doesn't show up in public very often. Hulk Hogan hasn't really left the ring yet. Inside, away from the attention, still wants to be seen and wants to matter, and now that we have social media, and he's having a hard time with nostalgia marketing. Ways to keep the fire going. There are lots of on my Instagram page. Old match clips and encouraging posts, a look back at the good old days of. He still ends his message with the well-known brother still posts and flexes art made by fans. But people who look see it better up close. It's less about a party now and more about preservation. A digital note to the universe that I was in. He's seen podcasting, sometimes made appearances on WWE programming, and gave a hint of a possible docuseries that would show his side of the story. Whether that materializes is still not clear, but Hogan thinks of it as a way to handle his own story that will clear things up before the time runs out. He also about preparing a new group of athletes. Even though he can't do it physically, a lot more than just he'd be on the outside, but his name still carries weight. He wants to use that name while it still makes noise in the business world, but being important costs some fans. I still haven't forgotten about the incident. Some people see his efforts to stay in the people as desperate, and Hogan, he walks a fine line because he knows this. He's not between being seen and hiding. Not a giant in the ring anymore, but in his keep in mind that there is still one more battle to fight. Fight the battle to be known as Hulk Hogan is nearing the end of his life. The question is, what kind of impact does he want to leave? What does a guy want who ruled the world once people say about him when he's not there? And Hogan said in an interview, I don't want to be known for your strength or the games. I want people to remember me for how I made people feel by giving them, even with all the problems, there is hope. Even though they are alone, there's still pain, a Hulk-like spark inside him. The man who told kids to have faith in themselves has faith in something, but maybe not, and he was no longer unbeatable but in redemption. He gave quietly to veterans charities, helped the hurt battling medical bills, and even met fans who were dying, and asked to meet him one last time. These are the days when he doesn't post about the ones that show a man trying to make things right with himself and the world. Dad knows he messed up, but he's trying, that's all. You can ask. And Hulk may have meant that. What Hogan's last chapter is really about, not power, not fame, not beauty, but trying to make peace, to be there and try to matter. He lives there as a house full of memories, through rooms filled with things from the past, and he asks the same thing every morning. Did I do enough? He might never fully understand, get away from the trouble or the pain, but at the end of the day, Hulk Hogan might not need that, will always be known as he only wants to be known as a man who fought until the end of the game.